A binary trans person genuinely wishes that they were born the gender that they are, so that they never had to transition. I, however, sincerely wish I was born the other gender, so I could be transitioning the other way.
I'm going to take testosterone and style myself like a man, and then suddenly people are talking to me like a man. I hate men. Like, what are you doing?
Ontario must pay for surgery to give trans resident both penis and vagina.
They have that now? Asexual is when you don't want to have sex with anybody, right? Autosexual is when you only want to have sex with yourself. And I think this person just took that to a new extreme.
Also, when you tell somebody to go fuck themselves, it can have an entire new meaning.
I will say vagina, not my area of expertise. Original or man-made. My understanding was that when they did a bottom surgery, they constructed it out of the penis. But here, it will be in addition to...
Are they just gonna, like, carve a hole into somebody's, like... That doesn't make sense. How is this going to be possible?
Ontario's top court has ruled the province must cover the cost of a penile-sparing vaginoplasty for a transgender resident who does not identify as exclusively female or male and who wishes to have both genitalia. In a unanimous decision released this week, a 3-judge panel of the Ontario Court of Appeal confirmed a lower court's ruling that the novel phallus-preserving surgery qualifies as an insured service under the Ontario Health Insurance Plan. So they're admitting it's novel, meaning I guess it's like a new thing they're going to try out, but seems experimental to say the absolute least.
All of this is kind of experimental, right? We are still figuring out whether any of these things are actually helpful to actual people that have gender dysphoria.
There is literally zero research, zero studies
on non-binary stuff. If that's even a thing. We just had the first ever transsexual 20-year research study. And even that was like, ooh, like some of the things that they've done in the past did not work. They don't even have any research on this. And they're expecting insurance companies and to cover this? Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah, and taxes, assuming this is Canada.
Canada, the taxes are like 54% or something like that. Or
I would not be thrilled if my tax dollars were going to experiment like Dr. Frankenstein or whatever on confused they-thems.
So this is from the WPATH. The appeal court also added that it expressively refers to penile-preserving vaginoplasty as a surgical option for some non-binary people, and also know that vaginoplasty may include the retention of the penis.
And also they put testicle singular, so you might just keep one.
The word testicle. You just want one testicle.
What is going on? This really upsets me because WPATH is supposed to be the experts on transgender healthcare. In reality, they're actually just activists. A lot of them aren't even doctors. But the fact that they put this insane stuff, including another thing where gender nullification, where they smooth you over like a Ken doll,
takes away your genitalia completely.
Like the Barbie doll. They put this stuff in their standards of care and legitimize it and allow insurance companies or governments to cite WPATH. Look, they say this is fine, even though there's no research on it. That's insane medical malpractice. Doctors shouldn't necessarily go along with it. You should be able to do what you want with your body, but doctors have a responsibility to only offer services they know are substantiated with evidence and are actually good for their patients. But that's like cosmetic. That is not a medical procedure and shouldn't be treated as such.
It will be interesting, though, to see if there's any, quote, non-binary people that actually go through with this, because there are a ton of them on TikTok. We see all these activists on TikTok. The males that are calling themselves non-binary will just put on makeup, usually, right? The Jeffrey Marshes of the world, the Alok or Alok, whatever the hell his name is, of the world. The females are the ones that actually usually go through some type of testosterone treatment, some kind of surgery, top surgery.
I think you're right. I think a lot of male non-binaries just like put on makeup and don't even shave their beard or whatever and are still obviously male. But the female non-binary people will often do things to their bodies that are irreversible, like take testosterone and have your voice drop. It may not go back, like get your healthy breasts removed.
I know a ton of, quote, non-binary people, or people that were even saying that they weren't trans, by the way. 5 lesbians in the past, that 2 of them were in my videos, by the way, that I have now since deleted, that regretted that surgery. It's a thing that's happening. Non-binary TikTok is a whole other shit show of its own. You know this, right?
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
Most of these people, they can't even define what non-binary is. And a lot of them start to transition and then realize like, holy shit, I look like a man, I pass like a man, I sound like a man, and I'm not a man. Of course you're not a man. You're saying you're non-binary. So why would you take the male hormone? That's why we say there's only 2 genders, because there's a male hormone and a female hormone. And if you take one of them, you're going to start looking like, hopefully anyway for you, I guess, the other gender, the other sex.
The difference between me and a binary trans person is very simple. A binary trans person genuinely wishes that they were born the gender that they are, so that they never had to transition. I, however, sincerely wish I was born the other gender, so I could be transitioning the other way.
The actual difference is that a trans person with gender dysphoria actually has at least a real medical condition that's documented. You are just deeply confused.
And just wants attention no matter which way they turn. Because even if you were born the quote right way, you would still have an issue. Like, how does that make any sense? They're just
There's no
figuring
policing
out a
them.
way how to be oppressed no matter what the situation is.
How would any doctor in their right mind operate on this kind of person who wishes they were born male so they could transition to female, but they were actually born female? That gives me a headache.
These next two that I found is another contagion on TikTok, where it's like a lot of people they're not even calling themselves trans anymore. They're calling themselves trans mask. I mean, they're transitioning. They look like dudes.
Being trans mask is so complicated. Like, yes, I want to be a man, but no, I don't want to be one. And no, I don't want to be a woman. And I don't want she, her pronouns. And I want to present as a man, but like, please don't fit me in with cis men. Does that make sense?
Narrator, it does not, in fact, make sense.
This is just what basically people like you and I have been saying for years. Like, gender is not just inherently an internal thing. It has a lot to do with how the world sees you, how you fit in, how you integrate into society. Because now these types of people are walking around existing as men, realizing that it's an entirely different experience, and they're not happy with it.
Also, it's kind of offensive to be like a trans man and want to present as a man, but be like, but don't lump me in with those cis men. Like, sorry, if you want to be like us, don't also hate us and throw shade.
Yeah, like if you take testosterone, you're probably gonna start to pass. Like, testosterone is a hell of a drug. Be prepared.
Yeah, make up your mind at least before you do this stuff, because this person still can't decide what they want to be, but has already made irreversible changes to their body.
That's why with actual transsexual people like my friend Buck Angel, Blair White, Marcus, they were told by a therapist or a psychologist to live as the gender they feel like they are before they do any changes to themselves. Here's another one that I found with the same problem. Another kid that's under the age of 30 that claims that they're non-binary, but they're starting to pass as male and they're not happy about it.
Passing as a guy now, and I'm not a guy, I'm non-binary. I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out where my testosterone journey is going to go. I don't know if I want to stay on T forever. I don't know if I want to fully pass as a man. So like, I work in like customer service and I'm getting, hey brother, how's it going, sir? And I know for a fact that if they even knew that I was trans, they would never give me the respect that I'm getting. And it's really pissing me off, basically, to be part of the patriarchy.
I love how this person's only example of the patriarchy was people being like, what's up, bro? That's the only thing they mentioned. And if that's the patriarchy, then I don't know that the patriarchy is all that bad.
It's not that bad. They're learning the hard way that gender isn't something to be played around with, right? It's not Pokemon. You can't catch all the pronouns or use all the pronouns. I feel like the funniest part of all of this is how much these people say that they despise men, sooner or later will pass as one, but then claim to be not a part of the patriarchy, or they don't want to be associated with the patriarchy.
But also sad because, like, you should have thought about, I don't want to appear as a man before you took testosterone. It looks like this person did this person have top surgery? Make up your mind about what you want to be before you do that.
Participation trophy generation, they always want immediate satisfaction. They don't want to actually work at it. They don't want to actually take time. They just want instant gratification. And this is what happens when you have that mindset.
I think there's real problems with sexism. And obviously, you know, historically, at least, society was patriarchal in some ways that were harmful. But to like cosplay as a man and then get mad that people are treating you as one when you specifically took steps to make yourself seem more like a man is just like bizarre victim mental gymnastics to me, and also like insulting to men. We're actually not like evil and bad.
Bunch of word salad that doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like what Kamala would do when she would stand there and give the speech. My chest gives me gender dysphoria, but I stopped wearing a binder because if you think about it, cis dude socialization teaches you that putting effort and intention into your appearance is kind of gay and feminine.
Well, I think what this person is going off of, if a guy is too well groomed, that is kind of, not always, but a signal of maybe they might be a little zesty. Where they lose me, though, is saying that therefore, if I want to appear masculine, I should just rock with my boob. Boobs are still not masculine? I feel like words still have to have some meaning.
There's a big difference between wanting to pass as male and be masculine, right? There are a ton of, maybe not a ton, but there are a decent amount of trans guys that look like dudes, but they're feminine, they wear makeup. Fine. That's your goal, right? To pass as a male. It doesn't mean that you can't be a feminine looking male. If you have no desire to pass as male and you're feminine,
then what does trans even mean at that point?
What does it even mean? We have situations like that video that I filmed at Orlando Pride with those 2 women.
Trans gay men.
Trans gay men.
Yeah, but we're femme presenting. Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay.
But you're still femme presenting?
Yeah, I still femme present.
And if these people really are non-binary, it's never going to be a perfect balance, right? Of neither feminine or masculine traits. Like somebody 99% of the time is always going to look more of one over the other.
It's usually pretty easy to clock what they actually are. Once in a blue moon, you'll see one where it's hard to tell, but usually it's pretty obvious if a non-binary person is male or female. Just be your sex that you are and be feminine or be masculine or don't conform to stereotypes. That's fine. But I will never get over the regressive logic that suggests that in order to be a feminine male, you actually have to not be a male at all.
If these people are all adults, let them do what they want with their body. But I feel like so many of them don't even put in the work needed to transition. Do we really think they're going to go through with these double genital surgeries? Maybe not.
I hope not.
Go and check out Brad's channel. I'll have it linked in the description below. Let us know if you are, and let us know if you are enjoying this brand new podcast that he and I started, The Normal Gay Call Out. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. Other than that, we will see you guys next Wednesday with a brand new video. Until then, we love you. Love yourselves. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye.